program is a special presentation of Fox Sports Net.
Guys that put a hurt on Bob Bender's Huskies the other night. The Stanford Cardinals are gone and painfully not forgotten. But the sun came up, it's a new day and a new game face. Ben Braun met the curse of the Palouse on Thursday, and his Bears too are licking their wounds. But there's always tomorrow, and tomorrow comes today. Who'll show up today? The Bears who bite or the dogs who snarl? Cal and Washington next. We welcome you to Seattle, Washington. Got a little break in the rain today. Chamber of Commerce weather inside Heckhead on the UW campus. Nobody really cares about the weather outside. They care about what's going on inside. And it's Pac-10 College Hoops, the Washington Huskies, and the Cal Bears. And hello again, everybody. Barry Tompkins once more with the coach, George Ravling. And Rav, we have a tendency maybe to overuse the term must game, and yet this falls into that category. What we have here today at Heckhead, two teams that are very much on the bubble, and for one of them, the bubble very likely will burst.
Absolutely. Barry, from Cal's perspective, they have absolutely zero margin for error. For Washington, theirs is razor thin, but Washington does have some positives going for them as they pursue this NCAA bid. Take a look at this graphic right here. They have a nice RPI ranking, their fourth toughest schedule in the country, fourth place in the Pac-10. So Washington has some nice things going for them.
Very difficult to find any shining moments in Thursday night's activity here at Heckhead. Washington losing to Stanford by 32 before a sellout crowd here at home. But if there was anything bright, you might say it was Donald Watts.
Well, in Donald Watts, I think we have a complete basketball player. There's no phase of the game in which Donald Watts does not excel. Score, defend, create, rebound, lead, think. He's a young man who does it all.
Now, California, on the other hand, has been a pillar of inconsistency. They play well one day, play not so well the other day. If there is any silver lining for the Bears, the one guy who has been consistent is Thomas Kilgore.
Well, for Cal, come win, lose, or draw, there's one thing that Cal can be absolutely certain of, and that's a consistent and stellar performance from Thomas Kilgore. He scorched Washington State the other night for 34 points. He's going to need near that today.
What Bob Bender has to hope is that Thursday night against Stanford was an aberration, that his team really is the team that had won 14 in a row here at Heckhead before. As to California, they get a great win against North Carolina, they lose the next game. They get a great win against UCLA, they lose at Washington State. You might say the Bears are schizophrenic, and so are the Bears. We welcome you back to Heckhead. Barry Tompkins, George Ravling, set to go in a game that, you know, oftentimes you and I, George, will sit down in the morning of a game and try to figure out what's going to happen, how this game is going to go. And I've got to say, this is one I have absolutely no clue. I don't know either of these teams which one is going to show up. They both can be good. They both can be not so good.
And I got a clue for you. Both coaches feel the same way.
Take a look at the lineups for the two teams. Elson, Lampley, Boyd, Kilgore, and Circus King gets a start. The Bears want a real point guard, and with Kilgore and Carlisle out there, they don't have one. McCullough, Walcott, Luton, Watts, and Senku Carey, the freshman who has played brilliantly, saved the game on Thursday night when he kind of disappeared. Key matchup that we're going to be looking at in this ball game is Carl Boyd, who had one of his only down games of the year against Washington State on Thursday, and Dion Luton, who also had a game that was less than scintillating. Whoever of those two can step up might go a long way toward deciding the outcome of this one. We are set to go. Elson and Walcott will jump center. Elson with a big size advantage over Walcott here. And he controls the tip easily, but Senku Carey steps in front of Lampley. Carey open for three. Had a good look, couldn't convert. And it's going to be California ball. The Bears just can't seem to find the answer from a consistency point of view. And Ben Braun has got that puzzled look on his face, and probably with good reason.
Well, for Cal to win today, they've got to get a consistent performance out of Kilgore, Carlisle, and Lampley.
And Elson makes the first basket. And I'll tell you, I've had a chance to see California at least a half a dozen times this year. I believe every time I've seen him, Elson has made the first basket, and that has had a tendency to disappear.
Well, what happens, they start off the game going to him with the hope that they can get him into an immediate offensive flow, and then his teammates forget about him.
Watts tries to lean in, lost the handle. Walcott picks it up. And we'll go the other way.
In a sense, both Bob Bender and Ben Braun have taken a first aid class, and their intent today is to stop the bleeding.
Well, they go to Elson again. He dribbles it off his own heel. Elson and McCullough, interesting matchup. It's big and strong versus big and quick.
Well, and I think that that's part of Cal's game plan. Get the ball into Ellison, have him turn and operate on McCullough in hopes that they can pick up a couple early fouls and get him, send him to the bench.
Now, McCullough, another guy that's got some apologies to make. He did not score in the second half of the game Thursday night against Stanford. And he misses his first try this time, gets it back, and Elson rejects it to Luton. Talk more about that, though. It's a forgivable offense that he didn't score against Stanford, because Stanford had a lot of help defense on him. He had no chance.
We talked about this being a must-win game for both teams as McCullough turns and tries to power over Francisco Ellison. It's an absolute must-win for both teams. The loser in this game, they immediately go on to basketball's life support system.
Well, to conclude the thought about Thursday night's game, before we really get into this game, I thought it had to do with as much with Stanford as it did with what the Huskies did not do. Stanford played a game that I truly believe they would have beaten anybody in the country. About as perfect a college basketball game as you can imagine. Beating the Huskies, who'd won 14 in a row, at home, Huskies being at home, that is, by 32, and the game wasn't that close.
Well, what Stanford showed, when they're in sync, they can play with anybody in the country.
Luton forced that shot and missed it. Kilgore dish to Elson, facing up. This is hard, and McCullough the rebound. So both teams struggling a little bit early in this game. They drop it down for Luton. Now Watts, the penetration, kick out Luton, 3. And they're going to get McCullough over the top of Lampley.
Barry, the telltale sign for Husky offense, Luton misses his first 2 shots. Usually when he gets off to a slow start like that offensively, it has a tendency to carry over the entire 40 minutes.
They're going to sit him now, too. And they bring Johnson on. Johnson had his high of the season with 11 the other night. UW now 0 of 5. But now not much better, 1 of 3.
In all fairness, Johnson's 11 came when the contest was decided.
Lampley turnaround, Johnson the rebound. So both teams continue to struggle. We've had 1 field goal combined in the first 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Raymond King reaching in on Senku carry.
It's obvious, as you say, Barry, there's an immediate carryover from their Thursday night games. Both teams have yet to exhibit that they can establish a comfortable offensive rhythm.
Walcott, but again, they'll give Walcott that shot all night long. And if they, Cal's theory, I'm sure, will be if Huskies going to beat us with Walcott shooting on the perimeter, so be it. Kilgore might have overpassed. Had a pretty good look. Elson couldn't find the handle. Out of bounds to the Dogs.
And neither team has made 3 passes on offense yet, Barry. You would think, coming off of the disappointment that both teams experienced Thursday, that they would be in search of a comfortable offensive rhythm.
And this time we're going to go the other way, offensive. And I think it's Donald Watts that they get on the foul. Bob Bender very disconcerted at this point. Needless to say, very upset at the performance that his team had against Stanford the other night. And you've been in that situation a million times. You really never do know how your team's going to show up after a loss like that, do you?
Well, and part of it is because of lack of leadership, particularly in Cal's case. Cal lacks team leadership. They lack floor leadership.
Boyd missed the J, and the shooting wars continue for both teams. And again, they leave Walcott that shot. Now he gets into the lane, missed the shot. Boyd the rebound. Raymond King getting the start at the point guard positions because the Bears don't have a true point guard, and a nice dish to Boyd.
What you do have when Raymond King is in the lineup is someone who can create easy baskets in transition.
You can see they won't guard Walcott out there. McCullough drives.
The big man creating his own scoring opportunities and doing it off the dribble. Impressive.
Lampley trying to post Walcott up. Travel. So very sloppy game early on here. Each team having all kinds of problems shooting. It's a 4-3 ball game. 15:26 left first half. McCullough to the rack. Point for McCullough, the Huskies would be empty. McCullough 2 of 4, 5 points, and he's got 4 rebounds along the way as well. The rest of the team 0 for 8.
And what's interesting about McCullough's 2 baskets, Barry, they're both uncharacteristic scores for him. One he creates on a drive from the high post. The other he gets in transition by running the lane.
Bears have turned it over 4 times. Phalo Green had a look, passed it up.
This is the most patience Washington has exhibited in the early stages of this basketball game.
Watts drives baseline, double clutches off the baseline, doesn't get anything. Gino Carlisle in the game for the first time for the Bears.
Bad decision by Gino Carlisle. He should have given that up early to Kilgore on the break and spread the defense.
McCullough again. Now Phalo Green all the way to the basket. Draws the foul on Elson coming over to help. I believe it's on Elson. Well, they're going to call Gill, not Elson. Arizona, they were in a battle with Oregon. Ducks battling the Wildcats, but the Wildcats winning at home by 6. Wildcats, of course, you and I are going to see them twice next week here on Fox Sports Net. Still an opportunity to win the conference championship.
I talked to Ernie Kent in the front part of the week, and he said, George, don't count us out yet. I think we have the necessary ingredients to make a major run. We could surprise people.
He's lost an awful lot of close games, and this one was close too. This was a 2-point game with 30 seconds left.
Yes.
Boyd all the way. And the follow is up and good by Hughes, Solomon Hughes. First offensive rebound for the Bears, and they make it good. Gets the ball into McCullough. McCullough leaves for Watts. Very unselfish play by the big man.
McCullough's really shown a lot of versatility at the offensive end of the floor early in the game, creating scoring opportunities, taking advantage of scoring opportunities.
And Carlisle, a nice pass to the cutting Hughes for the basket. All of a sudden, both teams heated up a little bit. Senku Carey is fouled. Gino Carlisle guilty of the foul. Watch McCullough, watch him give it up.
Nice defensive read by McCullough. He caught the ball, secured possession, read the defense, spotted the open man, gave him the ball. Good patience.
And Senku Carey at the free throw line for 2 gets the first. Carey's been a real catalyst for this Washington team. Just a freshman, came on when Dan Dickow broke his ankle. And has really taken the burden of leadership here for Bob Bender. Just a freshman, but he's got the respect of his older teammates.
Ben Bronze used 9 players already.
I think he's just trying to find 5 guys that work together. Huskies by 2, neither team grabbing hold of this game. Lampley at the free throw line, missed off the right side. Lampley has really struggled. McCullough down low over Hughes. No help that time.
Too big, too strong, too experienced for the young freshman Solomon Hughes.
Hughes at the other end with a jump hook, and he's got 6.
Hughes shows that he will not be intimidated.
Taylor Green picked by Gates, and it's picked up by Hughes. Quickly to Carlisle, and Carlisle's pass to Gill is picked off by Clark. Johnson open for 3. Missed everything off the right side. Wasn't very pretty. See if they go back to Hughes. He's got the Bears' last 6 points. Gates for 3, and he couldn't quite get it. It was down and then out. Nice pass to Johnson. And he missed the shot, but the follow by Johnson. Staying alert. A great pass by Senku Carey.
And not only was it a great pass, but it was the only pass that could have gotten through the bounce pass.
Another California turnover, and Clark caused that one. And we'll take a timeout. Bears continue sloppy. Huskies lead by 4. Hasn't exactly been a symphony on either side. 14-10, Dogs. .11:31 first half. 14-10 ball game. The Huskies over the Bears, and Deion Luton has been in that position for quite a while. Missed his first 2 shots. First one was a bad shot, and he's sitting. And Johnson has been out there for the better part of the first half.
Barry, I'm not convinced that Washington can win this game without a double-figure contribution by Deion Luton. I think that he'll get the message. He'll come back into the game with smoke coming out of his ears.
McCullough gets it down again. That wasn't easy. McCullough doing it all.
Well, and he scorched them last time, Barry, down in Oakland for 32.
Got a grab foul this time. Got Thalo Green on the foul. Francisco Elson will come back into the California lineup, and Solomon Hughes will leave. Hughes very productive while he was in there, at least on the offensive end.
Barry, down in Oakland last time, McCullough with 13 for 14 from the field, 5 for 5 on the foul line, 17 rebounds, 31 points.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, he looks like he's heading toward another one.
Gino Carlisle missed the shot, but got it back. Comes off the baseline and gets it down. Already had a few upsets around the country today amongst top-ranking teams. Kentucky coming up short at Arkansas, and UConn losing to Miami at Storrs, Connecticut.
I'm not sure that the 2 hottest teams in college basketball right now are not Texas and Miami. Boy, both of them are at the top of their game as we see Johnson penetrate. And a goaltending call by Francisco Ellison. Sean Lampley, his game has gone south. Came into the season with lots of accolades, high expectations. He's probably been Cal's most inconsistent performer.
Huskies tried to go backdoor that time, but the lob pass not quite high enough.
Number 22, Missouri went down to defeat today to Oklahoma State, 84-68.
But the Dukies didn't go down. They were tied at one point, 44, I believe. And Duke wins at 92-65. Come back and win by 27 after being tied in the second half at 44. Raymond King tried to get it to the cutting Gill, couldn't do it. Now a 3-on-1 for the Huskies. Johnson on the wing back to carry to the basket, and fouled by Gill. Second foul on Gill. Gill tweaked the knee a little bit at Washington State, and he's got the knee wrapped up today.
Nice transition basket, forcing the single defender back to have to guard two players. The oncoming rushing Michael Gill tried to trap it on the backboard, which he did do, but he also bumped the shooter, Sin-Q Carey.
Carey converts the first free throw. Boyd comes back into the ball game, and Gill will leave as the Bears continue very flat.
This young man here has future stardom written all over him.
Absolutely. As we said, for a freshman, he's one of those guys that even before he started playing, you could see his leadership abilities. Donald Watts will come back into the Washington lineup. Sin-Q Carey will sit.
I call Carey the solution because once he got into the starting lineup for Washington, good things started to happen to the Huskies.
Yeah, he's a gamer, too. He was a guy who made some mistakes early. That's why he didn't get more minutes as Lampley finds the range. And then when the job became his, he just stepped up. Plus a quality individual.
It's refreshing to see that Cal, one, is building an inside offense. They're building an offense from inside out, Barry. And number two, that they're not operating solely off the dribble, which they have earlier in the season. Cal's a passing team in this game and not a dribbling team. That's a good sign for them.
Well, Raymond King made the reasons for that. King, the distributor. There's a deflection. Raymond Circus King, transfer from San Diego State. Penetrates, kicked it out for Lampley, and a long shot by Boyd with 5 seconds left on the shot clock. This is Clark. They're looking to McCullough, who this time draws a crowd, kicks it out for Watts. Good look for three, too long. McCullough, the offensive rebound, and the putback with the right hand is a little short. Boyd forgot to take the basketball with him. Lampley picks it up. He loses it to Clark. And finally, it comes down into the hands of Carlisle, who throws up a brick. What was that about?
Well, sometimes you have to know when it's better to have possession of the basketball, back it out, reset.
Johnson, in the meantime, sticks a three on the other end, and we got a 20-second timeout. And the Bears just way out of sync.
Well, and if you could read Ben Braun's lips as the team came to the bench, he said to Gino Carlisle, what was that?
Yeah, it's something like what we said.
Yes.
Well, Jason Terry and the Pac-10's most lethal scorer leads the Cats into Berkeley as they're, well, at least into Oakland anyway, to face Gino Carlisle and the Cal Bears. Arizona and Cal, it's Thursday night, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on Fox Sports Net. And then, of course, Saturday we move down to Stanford, what could be for the conference championship. Arizona and Stanford, you can see that on FX, 7:30 Pacific time next Saturday night. Wildcats really coming in at the very top of their game.
The staple of any good offense is patience, good decision-making, and good shot selection.
Tell you what, Michael Johnson has really given his team a lift. He's played 10 minutes and has 7 points. Conversely, the man whom he replaced, Deion Witten, only played 2 minutes, didn't score. So Johnson doing what Bob Bender has asked of him. and playing with a lot of confidence. Why not? Do it again.
He's in his offensive rhythm right now, Barry. He's making good decisions. He's taking advantage of open looks.
Kilgore penetrates short with the right hand. Didn't even find the iron. Gets it back and throws up something. Lampley gets it back and jams.
Now let's contrast the two teams' offense. Washington patient, taking advantage of open looks. Cal making offense very difficult.
Leap with the shoot. A little bit short with that one. Clark will give him a second chance. Boyd ties up Clark. California ball. Nice play by Boyd to reach in. And we'll take a timeout. This wasn't pretty. It resulted in a jam. California trails by 9, 25-16, Huskies. 25-16 ball game with 6:35 remaining in the first half. Michael Johnson has really been the catalyst for this Husky team. He's 4 of 6, 1 of 2 from three-point range, got 9 points. He had a season high on Thursday in that losing effort to Stanford when he scored 12, but he's really playing with a lot of confidence.
Barry, when this young man was a senior in high school, he was one of the most highly recruited prep stars in the country. College coaches, the length and breadth of America, singing his praises.
Well, the words that were always spoken about him is he's a guy who can emerge. Maybe we're seeing the emergence of a very good player, Michael Johnson. Going to the basket this time was Carlisle.
Well, if you're Washington, I think you have to be pleased that Cal has chosen to take quick shots and make quick offensive decisions because it allows you to save all your energy for offense. You don't have to play defense for long spurts.
Johnson again. Missed this one. Carlisle with a rebound. The Bears can cut this lead. Shahar Gordon in the ball game for the first time for California. California really, for all intent, has 15 fouls to use against McCullough, but McCullough's not in the ball game right now. Carlisle's long three bounces over the top of the backboard. Husky ball. And with that, Senku carry and McCullough will come back into the Washington lineup.
You know, I've watched this Cal team play all season long, and they are a strange team. You look at them, and they have a lot of good pieces, but none of the pieces seem to fit.
Saw the numbers on McCullough, very impressive so far. 9 points and 9 rebounds in the first 14.5 minutes of this game. Carry off balance.
I think the two most dominant players in this conference are Jason Terry and Todd McCullough.
McCullough is making a believer out of me. I really wasn't a believer, to be very honest. I felt that he had a tendency to disappear at big games, but he's proving different. And thus proving me wrong.
I think his game has matured with each passing year. He doesn't commit foolish fouls. Fatigue is no longer a factor with him. He makes intelligent use of his offensive positioning. He's always had great hands.
Well, and he's getting stronger, too. And we told the story before, but when he came here from Winnipeg, he bench pressed 65 pounds. That's not very much. And now he's up there in the 250 to 300 range, which is still not Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it's certainly an improvement. And there he goes with the right hand. He's got 11.
Big Todd will be playing for somebody next year, and they will be giving him a few bushels of dead presidents.
Yes, indeed. Started out as a hockey player.
He made the right decision.
I remember talking to Bob Bender about him his freshman season, and he said he's a project, but I think he's got a chance to be something, and sure enough. The Bears right now just look like 5 guys in one basket. I rest my case.
they're a team that'll confuse the NCAA selection committee if, in fact, they get on the board. Because, Barry, they beat Carolina, turn around, lose to Oregon. Beat UCLA, turn around, and lose to Washington State.
Taylor Green thought about it. Luton back in the ball game now.
Stay on that side. Stay on this side.
Again, Halo kind of thinks about it. Instead, he finger rolls it off the window.
Very complacent defense by Cal.
And back the other way, Thomas Kilgore scores.
And that's fine, Barry, but just as you said a minute ago, the Cal offense has now evolved into a series of one-on-one attack the baskets. What a contrast in offenses.
Carry now, worked on by Carlisle. Got 9 seconds on the shot clock. Now Watts leans in and drew the foul. Nice play by Watts. They're going to go the other way. They're going to say Watts dropped the shoulder. I was about to say nice play by Watts to draw the foul. Instead, he gets the foul. He travels. Not a foul. He took the extra step. 3:05 left first half. 9-point lead Huskies. Washington leads it by 9. St. Carey back at the point, just a freshman, and in the eyes of Bob Bender, a guy who's going to be very productive for a long time.
Well, I think the greatest appreciation is what his teammates are saying about his play and what he's doing, and they talk about the confidence that he's given them, and that's what really a point guard's part of his role and job description will always be. When a freshman does it, and at such a critical time, you don't always expect that right away.
Well, they're getting a lot of production out of him, and this offense, very effective. Travel is the call against Thomas Kilgore. Kilgore with just 1 basket in this game. He is the guy that we put up there as a pillar of consistency for the Bears this year. Not getting it done so far today. He had 15 the last time these two teams hooked up. Nice kick out from McCullough to Watts.
Beautiful catch and shoot by Watts. Sometimes, Barry, it's difficult to be consistent in an inconsistent environment.
12-point lead, the largest of the ball game for the Dogs. Again, one-on-one. Kilgore missed the shot, Green the rebound. It's almost like Ben Brown has just thrown his hands up and said, all right, I'm going to roll the ball out there. You guys think you can win this way? Go ahead. It's going to be California ball as they reach in.
What happens when you gravitate to a lot of one-on-one offense? The tendency is to have 1 player active, 4 players inactive.
It's fine if the 1 player happens to be Michael Jordan. I haven't seen him out here, though, have you?
MJ. It's on a golf course somewhere.
That's true. Once again, a sloppy turnover. The opportunity, Jay, by Watts, and a 14-point Husky lead.
Cal needs to be careful. They're bordering on getting blown out here. See, if you look at Cal right now, it's just a team that lacks energy, and I think the energy's been taken out of them at the offensive end of the floor.
That was another bad shot by Boyd. Too quick and not a good look. Thalo Green at the other end. Ben Braun's going to take a timeout just to try to bring a little bit of order. This is a guy I think an awful lot of, and Ben's just not getting the best of it from his players. So we'll take a timeout. 59 seconds remaining to be played in the first half, and the Huskies own this game. California continuing to self-destruct. We welcome you back. The Washington Huskies lead the Cal Bears by 16. Just under a minute remaining to be played in the first half. What's on tap at halftime? Well, the Wooden Award winner profile. We're going to look back on a guy, not a bad player, Larry Bird. And we'll have all the first half stats and highlights and talk a little bit about what went on around the country on this upset Saturday. A couple of the top 10 teams were beaten. One at home, one on the road. You know, Donald Watts, very quietly, has been a real factor in this game.
3 for 5. He's got 7 points, 2 rebounds, and he's been dishing a few assists. You know, oftentimes when a team's offense takes on a selfish nature, the coach will apply what he calls a pass rule, that you have to make so many passes before a shot can be taken.
Raymond King floats that one up off the glass. And that time they did pass about 6 times.
And it was interesting. They scored.
Jones in the ball game for California. Saw his dad a little bit earlier. Robbie Jones, interesting guy, as a walk-on. Going to get a foul on Robbie Jones. Just a hard worker. Coach's son, knows how to play the game, contributes whenever he's in there.
Good defensive player. They're going to drop everybody to baseline and let Donald create.
Well, they got it to send Kid Carey for 3, and he missed everything. It'll be California ball with 2.8 remaining in the half. Raymond King, plenty of time, floated it up, couldn't get it. And the first half comes to an end, and it's one to really gather themselves for California. For the Washington Huskies, they lead by 14, reversing the trend of the other night when Stanford ran away and hit from them. We'll be back.
This is Fox Sports Net.
Well, here's to you from the Pikes Market. Little fish relay. 36-22, Washington leading California here at Heckhead as Bears can't seem to find the answer to the Huskies and certainly can't find the answer to this guy.
Well, he scored in such a wonderful variety of ways. He came down off the high post, off the dribble. He ran the lane and scored. He really has showed good offensive versatility.
And 9 boards to go with it. Michael Johnson, huge contribution off the bench with 9. Donald Watts, as we said, very steady with 7. Helped out in a lot of other areas as well. Thalo Green all around the basket for 5. Senku Carey with 4 free throws without a miss. Deion Luton significantly still has not scored. Let's take a look at California. Their leading scorer is Solomon Hughes, who only played about 5 minutes of the game.
Well, actually played 8. He made good use of those 8. Barry went 3 for 3 from the field for 6 points and 2 rebounds.
Well, when Solomon Hughes is your leading scorer with 6 points, you got a problem. Lampley and Carlisle 4 each. Kilgore, King, Boyd, and Elston with 2 each. And Elston, remember, he made the first basket, and we made mention of the fact that I've seen him do that. I can't tell you how many times, and then he vanishes. Well, guess what? He vanished. 36-22, Huskies over the Bears. Second half coming up.
These next 3 games are absolutely critical for Washington. At USC, at UCLA, and back home at Washington. Every one of them carries a must-win tag if the Huskies plan on participating in the big dance.
Johnson back in the ball game now for Bobby Bender. Well, just to make the analogy to boxing, we're talking about fight time on Fox. So it's almost unfortunate that this one can't be stopped on cuts so far as the Bears are concerned, because they're bleeding profusely.
Washington did a nice job of stretching that possession. 7 passes, good ball reversal, excellent patience. It intrigues me that Cal will not steal a page out of Washington's offensive approach. The reality is this, that Cal's offense is crying out for floor leadership, an offense that's going to feature some passing, some cutting, some player movement.
Gino Carlisle back into the California lineup, replacing Circus King.
anyone who would disagree that Ben Braun is a truly outstanding college basketball coach. But every coach needs the cooperation with players on the floor.
Well, he's got a great reputation. And as a matter of fact, there's two people involved in this game today whose sons played for Ben Braun at Eastern Michigan. One of them I know you know. I don't think you know the other one.
No, I know Scott Beaton, his assistant, who's sitting to the right of him on the screen. Scott Beaton, you see him right now talking to Ben. His son played for Ben at Eastern Michigan. I don't know the other one.
The other one is Billy Kennedy, one of the referees whose son played for Ben at Eastern Michigan.
Well, it certainly hasn't helped Ben on the refereeing wise.
There's Billy Kennedy. Said his son had great experience playing for Ben at Eastern.
Well, help's on the way. Cal's had a top 10 recruiting class. Now, what made that an outstanding defensive play for McCullough was, number one, discipline. He stayed on his feet. He did not reach for the ball. He allowed the offensive player to come to him, and then he interrupted the shot.
And that's a great play by Walcott. They knew they had a mismatch. They had Lampley on McCullough. And all they had to do was get the ball to him.
Boy, McCullough's making his own highlight film here.
17 points, 18 boards to go with his 4 assists, and had another 4 or 5 blocked shots, I would think.
How about this? The guy does not score in the second half against Stanford, doesn't get a shot in the second half of Stanford, and then he comes out here and he totally dominates this game. What a difference a game makes.
Johnson puts it on the floor, and the easy pull-up, and Johnson's in double figures.
Nice fundamental offensive basketball. Drive, jump stop, float, the shot over the defender's hands.
Kilgore, the floater across the lane. There's the 19th rebound, and he's now approaching his all-time high, which was 21. McCullough again, easy. Didn't get the shot down, had an easy chance.
Despite the substantial lead that Washington enjoys, it refuses to abandon its offensive game plan. They're staying with it.
And getting after it on the defensive end, too, as you saw right there. Clark, I think, has had some quality minutes in this game.
Bob Bender's got to be awfully pleased with the comeback performance of his basketball team. More from a mental standpoint than anything, Barry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it says something about Bob also.
Yeah.
Get this team ready to play after a really tough loss the other night.
Because frankly, Washington's a team with a fragile personality.
And I know Bob was really devastated with that loss. Not so much because they lost the game, but because they lost it the way and by as much as they did.
I think coaches take losing a lot worse than the players do. Because coaches, it lives with a coach for a lot longer, and it gives you a feeling of inadequacy.
It's the old thing. Once you get in the tournament, only one team goes home a winner. Everybody loses that last game. Good play by Raymond King. Got a timeout called by Ben Braun.
What kind of game is Todd McCullough having? 19 rebounds, 17 points, and 4 assists.
That's pretty impressive. And you know, it's all in the confines of the offense, too.
Nice patience by Walcott. Throws over top of the smaller Gill. McCullough takes it, attacks the basket.
Well, coming up next Thursday, Georgia and I will be at the new arena in Oakland, where 8th-ranked Arizona will have to contend with California. California is going to have to do pretty much what Washington had to do on Thursday. They're going to have to bounce back from a disastrous weekend on the road here in the Northwest. And then, of course, on Saturday, Arizona will come across to play Stanford. Last year, Stanford, of course, had won 18 in a row before they faced Arizona at Maples, and Arizona ran away from them, won it by, I believe it was 19. Stanford looking for a little revenge. And, of course, playing right now, pending their game tonight at home, playing superbly. So is Arizona, for that matter.
Come on. Don't pose. Flip it there.
The Huskies will use some of the clock here, 16 on the shot clock. Carey will back it all the way out. And Johnson had a look, but decided to put it on the floor and leave it for Thaler Green. Green back to Johnson. 5 seconds on the shot clock, and Johnson stepped on the end line. So there's the one possession I think that the Huskies would love to have back.
Well, they shared the ball almost to a fault on that possession.
And I suspect that's probably what Bob Bender is going to tell his team right now. They lead it by 29, 78 to 49. We're coming back. We welcome you back to Seattle. Huskies looking to sweep the Bears for the first time since 1985. They won at the new arena in Oakland. They lead here by 29. Shahar Gordon with the basket. Gordon was starting up until this Northwest road trip when Elson assumed the starting role again.
And Ben Braun has started to empty his bench.
That is Ryan Foran Kelly, number 42, as Ben Braun does likewise, bringing into the game the last of his bench as well. Moritz in the ball game. Now, he's not played in a ball game yet this year. I beg your pardon, he's played in 8 games. Andrew Moritz. Wearing number 22 is Travis Duty, also in the game. And Brown sticks a long three. It's in the genes. Son of Freddie Downtown Brown, brother of Tarek Brown in Oregon. That's Marion Shelton with a rebound and a reach-in foul, frustration foul against the Bears. And the 5th personal foul against Raymond King. Tough day for Raymond. Marlon Shelton, the son of Lonnie Shelton. They have a whole lot of sons of this Washington team. Paul Westfall's son is a redshirt freshman, and Marion shot puts it up there. Here's the connection. Brian Brown, of course, the son of Freddie Downtown Brown. Marlon Shelton, son of Lonnie Shelton. Donald Watts, as most people know, his dad, rather, Slick Watts, always in attendance here.
Big Slick's here today. There he is, right there, the baseball cap on.
Very popular figure here in the Seattle area. It's a 31-point Washington lead. This is Robbie Jones penetrating and drawing the foul. They're going to get Marion Shelton on the foul. Marlon Shelton, I beg your pardon. I called Marion a couple of times. Marlon Shelton. Robbie Jones makes it a 30-point Washington lead. Brown again. Throws up another. Doesn't get that one down. The rebound to Jones. And now Carlisle for California with 1:10 remaining.
Well, the road gets no easier for Cal. They go back home. They meet Arizona State, and then they finish up on the road at Oregon State and Oregon.
Tried to get the lob to Duty. Couldn't get that done. As it's swatted out of bounds by Brown. Well, Brown's been very active since being in the game. A couple of shots, picked off a rebound. Ben Braun just trying to figure out how to get this team righted. Gino Carlisle draws the foul on Brown, and Gino will go to the line. Gino just 6 points on 2 of 13. He has struggled mightily for the better part of the conference season.
It's almost a duplication of what he did over at Washington State. He was 2 for 13 against Washington State also.
Brown leaves it, the reverse for Moritz. Moritz' 4th basket of the year. Bobby Jones for 3, and he strokes it.
Unlike late in the game against Stanford, the Washington coaching staff has a few smiles on their faces. Brown throws that nice assist.
Leak throws up an air ball that might have been touched. Carlisle gets that one down. It's a 3. It looked like he might have had his foot on the line. 3 seconds left. Moritz to Duty, gets the shot up and in at the buzzer. So everybody on the Huskies scores. And kind of completes a perfect day for Bob Bender and his staff as his team bounces back from a 32-point loss on Thursday night to beat a good California team by 25. And for Ben Braun and his staff, an awful lot of work to be done before the Arizona schools come to the Bay Area next week. There will be no NCAA tournament for California, and the Huskies, George, clinging to a little hope here. So they win it by 25, 86-61. We'll be back with more from Heck Ed after this.